Hey there, hi there, ho there. It is I, Clay Morris, with the Amazing Grace Sports Network, here once again to give you Amazing Grace Sports Net Thursday with the NBA. Now, um, this is our first time. We're in 180, 1080 DP right now, and this is fantastic. I hope everything's going well. I don't have any overlays yet. We're with the new company, Restream. So I think we're actually looking better than we have been. Not that I need to look much better anyway. I'm fresh faced out the shower. About 2 minutes. Well, that's too much information. Who cares about that? Let's go on. It's the NBA on Amazing Grace Sports Network Thursday. On Thursdays, what we do is we cover what happened the night before in the NBA, and then we discuss what are the happenings, events, occurrences, and the standards of the Western Conference. So on Tuesdays, we do the Eastern Conference. Well, it's usually me and my co-host, Eric James. And on Thursdays, we do the Western Conference. So let's start off. Let's just get right to it. There were a lot of games last night. And my co-host, I think he's kind of laid down with Turkey right now. So I am going to co-host until he can show up, or I am going to host until he can show up, if indeed he can show up. If his wife or his mother lets him, he has to ask permission whether he can come out and play. But let's get down to it. And I'm going to save the best for last, of course. The Philadelphia 76ers traveled to the Charlotte Hornets. They traveled to Charlotte to play the Charlotte Hornets. And if you took Philadelphia in 5 points, you lost. Now, the Hornets have only won 5 games, and that's with the game they won last night. And 76ers, they're not much better, but they were at 98. Now they're at 99. What happened was the big guy, Joel Embiid, did not play because Joel has bad knees, as we all know. Matter of fact, he has a bad back and a bad neck, and he has a bad afro. Everything is going wrong for Joel. There's a lot of weight for him to carry around. I think it's over 300 pounds up and down that court, and he might need to take a rest and extend the rest. They went out early in the playoffs last year, and he might just need to take the whole year off instead of them even trying to work him back. I wish there was a situation in the NBA when the guy's hurt like Embiid and chronically his knees are going to be bothering him. Maybe he could take a season off, come back even better and stronger, just work in rehab. Because I'm going to tell you, as a person who has a little age on him, time does wonders for you. Time really does wonders for you. If you could get a year off and rehab, would be great. But since they won't be able to do that because they're paying him $30 million, that's not going to happen. So who tried to fill in for him? Tobias Harris did, and Tobias had 19. PJ Tucker only kicked in 3. Montrezl Harrell from the Giannis incident kicked in 16. Shake Milton kicked in 22, and D'Anthony Mellon kicked in 20. So that got them up to 101. But the Hornets, they scored 107. So it was 107 to 101. And they got it from, a guy named PJ Washington. He had 19. Then they had Gordon Hayward. Now, we all know Gordon. Gordon played with the Celtics, broke his leg when LeBron James collided into him in, I think, the first game of the season. And Gordon never even got a foul for that. He just got a broken freaking fibula, ankle, and knee, and probably who knows what else he broke. But he never even got a foul call for him. The travesty of the whole thing was not only was the guy knocked up in midair and mugged, he broke his freaking leg and they never gave him a foul. Who says the NBA is equal? Okay, Mason Plumlee had 11. Kelly Oubre had 14. And our guy Terry Rozier, who used to be with the Boston Celtics, he had 22. So that made up the 107. They had some scoring from the bench with a Smith, but we're not going to get into that because there were 12 games in the NBA, and we have to move on. I am going to get to this game. I really like to talk about this game because it involves the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, Cleveland is 12-6. They're right up there. They're right up there in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, but they're right up there. We're not going to talk about the East, but they're right up there at the top of the Eastern Conference. Very surprising, but they have some very good players. The Trailblazers came to Cleveland to take on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And if you took the Trailblazers and 7 points, guess what? You lost because they scored 96 and the Cavaliers scored 114. Now, for Portland, Damian Lillard was out. He had a strained right calf. So they had Justice Winslow. And actually, he's a pretty good player, but he only scored 5. Who they do have is Jeremy Grant, who is the son of Harvey Grant, who is the brother of Horace Grant, who won 3 NBA championships in a row with Michael Jordan. They have Jeremy Grant. And Jeremy Grant scored 21. Jusuf Nurkic, he's a pretty good forward center, scored 22. Josh Hart, 8. And Anthony Simmons, who I'm not entirely confident about going into. I won't go into them. So he scored 20. That actually gave them everything they could get because they only got 20 points from the bench. 10 from Eubanks and 5 from Watson and 5 from Sharp. So that was 20 points from it's actually not bad, 20 points from the bench, but it wasn't enough. As the Cleveland Cavaliers put the boost to them. Evan Mobley had 10. Lamar Stevens had 12. Jared Allen, one of my favorites. Now, he used to play with the Nets a while ago, and he didn't get much notoriety then. He's now moved to the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he is appreciated. And he's a big guy, tall, not very big, but he's tall, and he scored 24 points. Darius Garland scored 24, and of course Donovan Mitchell, my man Donovan Mitchell. If only I had known you were this good. It was a guy that I met at Planet Fitness who told me how good Donovan Mitchell was, and I started watching some games, and this guy might be leading the league for MVP. He might be a little early, but he scored 34. Okay, that's Donovan Mitchell, 34 points on 11 for 18 shooting. And this is what I like best about Donovan Mitchell. Not only does he get you a lot of points, not only does he get you points that are very good, he gets you points that unlimited shooting. Okay, what I'm saying with this is that, we're with a new setup here and everything. So let me see. He doesn't shoot a lot. Donovan Mitchell does not shoot the ball out. He doesn't hold on to the ball. He doesn't hog the ball. We have that old Kobe ball hog thing where Kobe, Phil Jackson on the bench saying, "Get off the ball, get off." And I have this discussion with my brother all the time, who is a Kobe Mamba maniac. Okay, Kobe could do that. Kobe was a ball hog. Okay, he was a great player, but he was a ball hog. But you don't have to worry about that with Donovan Mitchell, because Donovan Mitchell is going to get you 30-something points on 18 shots, and he's going to make 11 of them. How can you beat that? You're not going to beat that, ladies and gentlemen. That's Paul Pierce-esque. I'm going to tell you the truth. That's Paul Pierce-esque. A lot of people had a problem with Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce was a great player because Paul Pierce is going to do the same thing that Donovan Mitchell is going to do. He is going to get you 20 to 30 points on minimal shooting. He's not going to air the ball out. And if you have a team and you want to have that team play as a team, and you want to have that team play as a team, now see, I switched mics, and so you guys probably didn't hear me. I need my co-host. Where's my co-host? He could tell me, "Hey, buddy, you're messing up." But anyway, I think I was talking about Donovan Mitchell when I went blank. So what I was saying is that he's a lot like Paul Pierce. He's going to get you a lot of points with minimal shooting. And if you have a team, that's what you want on your team, period. Let's move on from him. We have the Washington Wizards take on the Miami Heat in Miami. Now, Miami has not been that good, but at home, ladies and gentlemen, they are pretty darn good. 7-4 at home. They're only 8-11. Okay, they've only won 8 games, but 7 of them have been at home. So that shows you how good at home. So predictably, you probably have an idea of what happened. Yes, Washington lost 113-105. 113-105. Washington lost. It's surprising because Washington is 10-8, and they're doing pretty good this year in the East. Okay, Kyle Kuzma, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdia, Kristaps Porzingis, and Jordan Goodwin. Kyle Kuzma led everybody with 33, and everybody knew that Kyle Kuzma had the goods. But LA had to get rid of him in order to get, yes, you're right, in order to get Russell Westbrook. Now, I watched Kyle Kuzma back when his first year, second year with the Lakers. I said, this guy's going to be pretty darn good. And it turns out, of course, I was not the only one who said that. Probably they said that too when they drafted him. But they had to get Russell Westbrook. And so they traded Kyle Kuzma away, and that's what they got. Jordan Goodwin also, Kristaps Porzingis put in 21. So they led the Wizards, but they lost to the Miami Heat. Nikola Jovic, 3 for 7, 1 for the 3-point line, 7 points. He didn't do too much, but he did enough. Caleb Martin. Now, Caleb Martin was with the Charlotte Hornets. He has a brother, Corey Martin. The two of them were on the Charlotte Hornets. Now, Caleb has escaped to Miami, and he's a new man under the Pat Riley, who's going to work you to death. But he's a new man. He needed the discipline because Caleb scored 24 points. Bam Adebayo had 15. Kyle Lowry, my favorite foil. Now, I say that because Kyle's always falling down and flopping. In between acting like a tough guy and trying to run over people, he's flopping. But Kyle Lowry, smack my face, Kyle, had 28 points. Yes, he did. And you're going to like this. On 7 for 12 shooting. You know, and if you live long enough, you will eat your words. Cal lit it up for them, and he took care of business. Tyler Hero, 6 for 15 shooting, 17 points. In Miami, pulled that one out, 113 to 105. 113 to 105. I think we are doing well now. It looks like the mic is working. It looks like I'm on screen. It looks like you can see me. There's enough light. I wish I could show you the beautiful clouds and sky out there. But you know what? You're here with me. It doesn't matter. Look at my face. I will show you all the light that's in here, that's in sunny Florida right now with the palm trees waving out there that you can't see right now. Let's go on to the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Indiana Pacers. Now, Minnesota. They had a chance to go, I think, to the finals. I think they were almost there, but they didn't do it. And Karl Anthony Towns, they traded for Rudy Gobert. Now, before I say this, they traveled to Indiana and they won, 115 to 101. Okay, so how bad can I be talking about them? Jalen McDaniels had 18. Rudy Gobert had 18. They have Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns playing, starting the game. The two of the biggest guys in the league out there. The Twin Towers once again. So Karl had 23. D'Angelo Russell, our old friend from LA, had 15. And Anthony Edwards, who was the real scoring leader on that team, had 19. They didn't get much from the bench, but it doesn't matter. But I want to talk about Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns being out there at the same time. I think this is going to come back to bite them in the playoffs because similar to Joel Embiid. Now, see, this is why you come here. This is why you come here to Amazing Grace Sports Network, because I am not going to pull any punches. I am not going to tell you something that's not true. I am not going to sugarcoat anything. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat, and I'm not trying to denigrate anyone or demean anyone. But what I have seen is that both Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert also have knee problems getting up and down the court. They don't do it too fast. And that's what happens when you have knee. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know about when your knee hurts and how I can tell. Anyway, they won 115 to 101. And they beat Indiana. Indiana does not seem to be getting production from their starters. I'll give you an example. Jalen Smith scored 2 points. Aaron Nesmith. Now, Aaron is a pretty good player. He came from the Celtics. But Aaron only shot 1 for 9, and he scored 3 points. Miles Turner, one of my favorite players, always gives it. Miles, everything goes out to you. You've kept Indiana afloat for a long time without any notoriety, but you get notoriety here because I recognize good play and good plays when I see it. Miles Turner kept him afloat with 31 points. Tyrese Halliburton. Now, he was with Sacramento, and everybody thought he was going to be the next big thing of Sacramento. Well, Tyrese was 4 for 15 for 10 points. And Buddy Hyde, another hit or miss guy, was 5 for 16 with 13 points. And you got to feel sorry for Miles, because Miles carried this whole freaking team. And if anybody had kicked in anything, they're playing at home, they would have won. Okay? Let's put it that way. Let's move on to the Nuggets and the Thunder. Nuggets and the Thunder. Denver Nuggets, OKC Thunder. Okay, yes. I had a little, mind fog there. Did I take my vitamins this morning? Because I shouldn't have that if I'm taking my vitamins. Okay, that's scary. Anyway, let's get into it. The Nuggets went to OKC, and they won. Yes, the Nuggets won. They're 11-7, and the Thunder are 7-11. Two teams going in two different directions. Now, the Nuggets, with Aaron Gordon, a very good player. I love Aaron Gordon, who had 31 points. Bruce Brown, he was playing with the Nets last year, with Kyrie and those other guys, Kyrie, and Durant and those guys. He had 17. He's a good player, and he gives it his all. I think he's out of Boston. Boston. Represent, Bruce. Nikola Jokic. They call him the Joker, and I'm not joking, but I'm trying to say his name. Nikola Jokic, okay, had 39 points. Now, he's a big guy. He's about 7'1", weighs about 280 pounds, has a soft shot. He's pretty good around the hoop. Pretty good. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Now, the thing is, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is a good player. He was with the Lakers when they won, but the Lakers couldn't afford him because, of course, the Lakers, they have to scale everything down in order to get the big players. So Kentavious, he had a good job. He had 15, and Devon Reed had 0. Now, what makes Kentavious Pope, what I noticed that he was drafted the same year that I got, not our guy, but Giannis Antetokounmpo was drafted. Now, Kentavious was drafted number 8. Giannis Antetokounmpo was drafted number 15. I always think that's, it's amazing that there were a lot of guys: Anthony Bennett, Victor Oladipo, Otto Porter Jr., Cody Zeller, Alex Len, Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore, Kentavious Pope, Trey Burke, C.J. McCollum, Michael Carter-Williams, Steven Adams, Kelly Olynyk, Shabazz Muhammad, and then came Giannis. Now that, my ladies and friends, you wish you could do over, right? But you can't, and that's what happens. So the Nuggets won 131-126. Now I want to move on to something here. Let's talk about the Pelicans. The Pelicans went to San Antonio, and they beat the Spurs, but then again, who doesn't? The Spurs are 6-13 at home. The Pelicans are 11-7. Zion Williamson came back, had 32 points, 14 for 18 shooting. Now, Zion can stay healthy with Brandon Ingram and Jonas Valanciunas. Jonas, I'm just going to call him Jonas. Let's call him JV, okay, who had 22 points. Brandon had 17. Herbert Jones had 9. And Jose Alvarado had 5. But there's also Devontae Graham. Devontae Graham of the New Orleans Pelicans had 21. If Zion can stay healthy, they have a chance. If he can stay healthy, but it's going to involve him getting in shape. And we're going to see what happens with that. So the Pelicans went into San Antonio, 129-110. For San Antonio, Jeremy Soka had 12. Not many of these guys had, okay. Keldon Johnson had 5. Jacob Politi had 4. Trey Jones had 9, and Devin Vassell had 26. They had a couple guys off the bench. Keita Bates Diop. Okay, I'm just messing with these guys. Doug McDermott had 21, and Keita Bates had 10. So they had pretty good production from the bench, but it wasn't enough. And when I stopped, if guys, if I'm killing your names, feel free. I think the number's here. You can always call. We have a chat thing, and let me check the chat. Yes. So if you're watching this and I just kill your name, call me, and so you can say it right. You believe me. You put your name on there, and you send me an email or a phone number. I will personally call you right from here, right on the show, and you can give me the what's up on the what's up about how your name should be pronounced. Now, the Chicago Bulls. Speaking of Giannis, the Chicago Bulls went into Milwaukee and played the Milwaukee Bucks. And if you took Milwaukee in 4 points, you lost. But I don't think they were giving any points away from Milwaukee because Milwaukee was a favorite. So if you took any points with the Bulls, it didn't matter because they won 118 to 113. The Bulls won in Milwaukee 118 to 113 the night before Thanksgiving. So I think the Bucks were thinking turkey, not really playing. They surely weren't thinking Bulls. What do we have here? DeMar DeRozan is 36. The steal, DeMar DeRozan, the steal of the decade was getting this guy. Vucevic had 18, Zach LaVine had 18, and Williams had 11. Giannis, who went number 15, was the 15th pick in that draft, had 36. Brook Lopez had 20. Jrue Holiday had 14. Carter had 2. And Grayson Allen filled it in with 13. There were a lot of do not play coach's decision for Milwaukee. I think he should have gave those guys a little run because Bobby Portis only gave him 9 and Hill only gave him 10. So Wes Matthews only gave him 6. There was a lot of room. There was a lot of room for points to be scored, and that didn't happen. Okay. We have the LA Clippers. Yes. We have the LA Clippers. The LA Clippers went in to Oakland. Is it Oakland? Do they call it Oakland now? I think it's San Francisco. Well, anyway, they went into the Golden State Warriors building because it used to be the San Francisco Warriors, so I think they're playing in San Francisco again. They're not playing in Oracle. So the Clippers, the LA Clippers, who are 11-8, went in to San Francisco, and guess what? They lost. Yeah, we'll see. The Warriors are not a bad team, okay? It's just taking them a little while to get their rhythm, and it's going to take a little while to get the rhythm. They play deep into the playoffs, so by all accounts, they I'm loading food up. Too much going on. This is my co-host just texting me, and he said, "Tell the peeps happy Thanksgiving, and I will be back on Tuesday." I am going to choke this guy if the food doesn't choke him first. You know what? Thank goodness I'm capable of handling this by myself with only the grace of God and by, all the natural talent that he gave me and the good sunshine and, of course, you. It doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get on to the game. The Clippers went into San Francisco to play the Warriors, and they lost 124 to 107. 124 to 107. So if you took the Clippers in 16 points, you lost your money. Not that I'm saying bet because, listen, I don't believe in betting anyway. Yeah, let's get over it. Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris has the same last name as me, and he is about 30 years younger. He had 19 points. Maybe I can make a comeback. No. Avika Zuban, who used to play with the LA Lakers, had 8. Reggie Jackson from Boston College had 11. Terrence Mann. Now, Terrence Mann, is that from the Field of Dreams? Field of Dreams. Terrence Mann was a character in the play by James Earl Jones. Terrence Mann, I'm sure of it. Somebody has to check that out. Well, he had 17, and Amir Coffey had 13. Brown had off the bench, and Nick Powell had 17 off the bench also. Actually, they had pretty good production off the bench. 20, 30. They had 39 points off the bench. When you can do that, most likely you win. But in this case, they lost because Draymond Green actually had 9 points. And when Draymond Green gets 9 points, it's like getting 27 points. And after that, Andrew Wiggins had 31. Kevin Looney had 9. Steph Curry had 22. Klay Thompson had 18. And that about sealed the deal because Jordan Poole only had a big 8 points. He was terrible shooting. He was 33 for 15 yesterday. It's a good thing he comes off the bench because he's not doing that good. He can just go right back to the bench. And nobody's losing any sleep over it. That's about it. There's not much to say on that one. Golden State won. And their happy days back in San Francisco once again because they were getting a little bit worried when they weren't doing too good. Now, the Pistons, the Detroit Pistons, went to Salt Lake City to take on the Utah Jazz. Now, Detroit's only 5 and 15, and Utah's 12 and 8. And I think, matter of fact, let me just check something here. No, Utah's in 4th in the Western Conference. So we'll wrap that up. Utah is in 4th place with 12 and 8, and the Pistons, well, we don't even want to talk about where they are at 5 and 15. But the Pistons went into Salt Lake City and they won. Yes, they won. They won by 9 points. And it looks like it was not even that much of a dogfight. They outscored Detroit by 1 point in the 4th. So essentially, they took the game in the 4th, winning it by 9. The Jazz obviously were not thinking about cars or motors or pistons. The Jazz appeared to be thinking about turkeys too. And they played like turkeys in Salt Lake City last night. Marvin Bagley had 19. Isaiah Livers had 7. We're talking about for Detroit. Bogan Bogdanovic. See, I didn't even look at the paper because it's in my mind. I don't know why I screwed it up. Bogan Bogdanovic, okay, had 23. He led all of the Detroit scorers. Killian Hayes had 16. I think he's going to be a very good player, this Killian Hayes. No, Jaden Ivey had 16 and Killian Hayes had 2. After I said he's going to be a very good player, but he will. But his what lifted him, buoyed him, I would say, because, if you're in the water, you get buoyed up. Okay. Kevin Knox, who was once the number one, picked in the first round, the number 1 draft pick of the Knicks. It's his 4th year, but he got away from the Knicks. And this one, the Knicks are getting good, but he was not getting I think he was there when Phil Jackson was there, and that was not working out very well. Anyway, Kevin Knox had 21 points, and Alec No-Nonsense Burks, this is a no-nonsense guy, had 18 points. So there's 39 points right there, and then they had Diallo had 19 more points. So they looked like they got about 50 points from the bench. Detroit did. And that just completely put them over the top. The Utah Jazz, on the other hand, with Kelly Olynyk, only had 8. Kelly was an efficient 4 for 9. Larry Markkinen. These guys are playing at home, so he was only 4 for 13. He only had 13 points. Jarrett Vanderbilt, 7. I'm not too sure they should be. Anyway, Jordan Clarkson had 24, and Colin Sexton, who used to be with the Cleveland Cavaliers, if he was still there. But I think what happened was Colin Sexton was moving to North for them to get Donovan Mitchell. If those two could have been there at the same time, well, there's probably not enough balls to share. So each one should be happy where they're at because they get to do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do because they have the green light. They are the ones with the green light. Now, but the Cleveland Cavaliers, no, wrong sheet. The Utah Jazz, Jordan Clarkson has a green light. Colin Sexton has a green light. They're going to need some more from these other players. Laurie cannot be shooting 4 for 13. He's a better shooter than that. He's a much better shooter than that. And here's the problem. The problem is he has to shoot his shots. He shouldn't force it. Instead of trying to force a shot, wait until you get an open shot, Laurie, and then you're going to make it. There is something. Malik Beasley did score 29 for the Jazz. Malik he's tearing it up as usual. And Fontecchio had 10. But other than that, they didn't get much of the bench. But I saved the best for last. And the best for last was, of course, the Boston Celtics. the Boston Celtics, and I can say that because Boston is kind of close to, I forgot, we're not going to talk about Boston. Let's talk about the Kings and the Hawks. The Kings and the Hawks. Okay. Save the best for last. Let's get this out the way. Not to say that you're not good Kings and Hawks, because you're good. But the Kings, the Sacramento Kings, went into Atlanta yesterday to take on the Atlanta Hawks. And if you took Sacramento Kings in 8 points, you lost because they scored 106, but the Hawks scored 115. Sabonis, he used to be with Indiana, had 15. Harrison Barnes, 8. Murray at 4. D'Angelo Fox, 18. And Herter at 13. They're just not getting it done. I mean, they're up there. They're 10-7. Lyles had 12 off the bench, and that was it. Oh, wait a second. Malik Monk had 27. That carried him off the bench. But Malik Monk's giving them a punch off the bench, but other than that, they're not getting anything else. They need a little bit more from the starters. The Atlanta Hawks, on the other hand, well, you can predictably guess who was the high scorer for that. That would be Trae Young, who had 35 points. Fairly efficient, 11 for 19. If Trae Young is going to give you 11 for 19, you should win. John Collins, who's only 3 for 12. Where's your shotgun, John Collins? He only had 7 points. Hunter had 13. Clint Capella, Mr. Efficient. He shot the ball 10 times. He was 5 for 10. Trae Young had his 35. And DeJounte Murray was 5 for 16. He's not feeling it last night for 15. They got some off the bench. Johnson, Holiday, and Griffin gave them 20, 30 points. 30 points off the bench. So they did fairly well that way. And now we can move on to the marquee game. And I only say that because, yes, I am from Boston. And it's good to see them doing good. And they're doing pretty well. There's people that think they're going to make it to the finals again this year. I think they're Montrezl Harrell away. And we're okay. They're right here. I have it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. And this was a heck of a game. This was a heck of a game. The Dallas Mavericks coming all the way from Texas. And the eyes of Texas are upon Dallas as they travel to Boston, Massachusetts, to take on the 17-time world champion Boston Celtics. This was a barn burner, guys. Let's just get into it. Dorian Finney-Smith had 10. Oh, let me give you the score. The score was 125 to 112, and that was a close score because at one point Boston led by 30, or 27 or 30 points. Close to it. I think it was 30 points. And the Mavericks fought their way back into it, clawed their way back into it, scratched their way back into it, and got it down to double digits in the fourth. So let's go into some of the point scores and totals of the players of the Mavericks because they did a really good job. Dorian Finney-Smith had 10. That didn't do too much. Bullock was only 2 for 6. He really didn't play a whole lot. 27 minutes, but he didn't score a lot. He had 5. Dwight Powell. Well, Dwight didn't even shoot anything. He got fouled and went to the free throw to score his 1 point. Got 1 point from Dwight Powell, but maybe you got to let him shoot a little bit. I mean, all he does is dive to the hoop. Maybe if you throw him a dunk once in a while, Luka or Dorian or Reggie, drive to the hoop and throw it up, and that's what he does best. That's what he does best. That's what Dwight Powell does best. Dunk the ball. Throw it up in the air so he can get a dunk. Think about your player. I know I should be talking about this stuff, but no. You know what? I'm a basketball aficionado, and I love things that are basketball. So team play is the best thing that I advocate. I always advocate team play. And when Dwight Powell's only getting 1 freaking point, and he's starting out there, guys, you got to do a better job of getting him the ball. Spencer Dinwiddie. Okay, Spencer, 32 minutes, 15 points. 6 for 8, not bad. Luka Doncic shot the ball 28 times. 28 times. He scored 42 points. He played 40 minutes. He played more than anybody else on the court. That's not going to get it done. Your stars have got to play less. Luka is a star. They got to get more. Okay, we'll go into that. but he's 42 points, 17 for 28 shooting, which is not bad. It's better than half. But when you get over 25 shots, okay, the rest of your team is lacking. You're not giving. There's not too many shots to go around. Tim Hardaway was 1 for 7, 2 points coming off the bench. David Bertans, 0 points, 0 for 3. JaVale McGee, he was 2 for 2 with 5 points. Chris Wood, now he had 26 points on 10th, 14, and you are going to have to get this guy some playing time at the expense of Bullock, or somebody's got to give up some time here. Spencer Dinwiddie, he's not putting out the best shots either. I love Spencer. He came from the Nets, but you're going to have to get some. Yeah, Luka's got to share the ball. He's got to share the ball, and he's not being encouraged to share the ball when these guys can't score. So he's going to get. Now, let's move on to your world champion. Oh, they weren't the world champion. The Golden State Warriors are. Well, to your runner-up to the world champion, Golden State Warriors, the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum had 37 points on 11 for 24. Not bad. 11 for 24. I would like to see him be more like 16 for 24. He has to be more efficient. For that, he's going to have to start taking the ball inside more and getting fouled more. Not just on drives, but taking the ball on the blocks. Getting fouled that way and maybe getting the and one. That's going to improve his percentage. He needs to go there. He's a big guy. But Jason, you're scoring 37 points a game. Let me just zip my mouth and let you go. Okay, 13 for 15 for the line. So he is getting fouled. Al Horford had 14. Marcus Smart had 13. And don't give me any more Marcus Smart arguments. It's just driving me crazy. Marcus Smart, I'm not even going to enter. But let's just say, Marcus, I love you. But Marcus, okay, let's just move on. Okay. Derek White had 12, 4 for 9. Marcus Smart was 5 for 9. Al Horford was 5 for 5. Can't beat that. And Jaylen Brown was 13 for 18 for 31 points. So Tatum and Brown each scored 30 points, and Jaylen was the more efficient of the two by far. Coming off the bench, they got 13 from Malcolm Brogdon, and that's about it. There were a lot of do-not plays. Cornette, Vonleh, Griffin, Sam Hauser. Did he get out there? Sam Hauser had 3 points. So the Celtics are rolling along. They lead the East as well. They should. But we're not going to talk about the Eastern Conference right now. But they do lead the East, 14-4. We're going to talk about the Western Conference. And I've noticed there's been a lack of Los Angeles Lakers airplay on the airwaves, which means they're losing. Yes, that means they're losing. But let's start off with the people who are winning, and that would be the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns are 11-6. They lead the West. The Phoenix Suns, as well, they should. They have a great team. The guys are, I don't think Chris Paul is back yet, but they have a team that was 1 or 2 games away from the finals last year. Dallas came back and beat them. I think they had Dallas 3-1, and they could have been in the finals with the Golden State Warriors, but they lost, and that sealed that. The Denver Nuggets 11-7, they're in second place. The New Orleans Pelicans are in third place, 11-7. The Utah Jazz 12-8. They have a chance to really be good. The Sacramento Kings are actually in fifth place. So you know it's early in the season when Sacramento is in fifth place, because I expect that total to go down. The Memphis Grizzlies, now it's going to be a question. You remember when I told you that, John Morant reminded me of another guy, Sean Livingston of the LA Clippers way back when, because he moves so quick, but he's so frail. I think he's out injured again. And this might be something that needs to be paid attention to as far as him going along. They might have to spend some extra time in keeping him out for a period of time and let him build up some strength, especially in the leg area or the legs area. because he could be in a situation where, he's not really built up as much as he should. And for the amount of torque and speed, the amount of speed and quickness that he uses, which puts torque on his limbs, could be a problem as he goes forward, because we know the NBA game is 80 games a season. And when you go out there, you're expected to go out there and give it. Okay? Just a word to the wise when it comes to the Memphis Grizzlies. I hope you're listening, Memphis. But let's just, give this guy some intended work. The Minnesota Timberwolves, they're in 8th place, 10-8. Portland Trailblazers, Dallas Mavericks pulling up at 10th. Portland's in 9th, Dallas in 10th. Now, Dallas has a terrible record because Luka Doncic is hogging the ball too much. He's their best player, but the ball is going to have to come out of his hands. He's doing this Kobe-like thing, He brings the ball up. He pounds the ball into the ground. He decides who's going to get it and who's going to shoot it. No. Somebody else is going to have to bring up the ball. Luka, you're going to have to run a play. You're going to have to get open, and we're going to have to distribute the ball to other people. If Dallas wants to win. If they don't want to win, they continue along the same thing. Golden State is right outside the bubble right now at number 11, 9, and 10, but I expect Golden State to pick it up and get in there. Oklahoma Thunder, they're at 7 and 11. The San Antonio Spurs are at 6 and 13, and the Los Angeles Lakers are at 5 and 11. Yes, Los Angeles is at 5 and 11. They've won 5 games at home, which means they can only play in Los Angeles, because all the rest of the times they have lost whenever they played away. That's the sign of a team that's heading toward the bottom. Yes, sir, I'm not even a Cowboy, but that doesn't sound too good when you haven't won a game away from home and you are 0-5 in your division and 3-10 in your conference. Who's waiting around for anything? Blow this sucker up if you got a chance. Now, the only person you're going to get any value for is Anthony Davis. You're just going to have to give away Russell Westbrook and probably take some of his contract back to get rid of him. I'm just being honest with you. And LeBron, he's going to demand the ball too much to go to any team that wants to win. He can only go to a team that's not going to win, has no plans of winning, and just needs some star attraction to last him for the rest of the season, which might be the Charlotte Hornets or the Orlando Magic. He might impede. He might actually help somebody on the Orlando Magic because they can't seem to win a game, and they have a lot of young studs. LeBron won't get as many stats as he's used to getting, but at least he'll be with a team that wants him. Okay, on the west side, maybe the Thunder or the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets are actually pulling up the last of the league. They're 3 and 14. But Houston has no intention of winning, and they might learn something with LeBron if he plays a little defense. Defense? D? Can we spell D? However you spell D in sign language. If he plays a little defense and applies himself, a young team will follow LeBron. Not that they might make the playoffs, but they're not going too far, but they will follow him. Right now, with LeBron not playing any defense, he's not a good leader. And Los Angeles is a place where they want winners. They want their team to win, which means you have to play defense. And if you're not going to play defense, LA, he's not going to play defense. You have to make a decision. If you want to satisfy your fans, you need to make a decision when it comes to LeBron James, because he is not going to play any defense whatsoever. He's only out there for stats. So if you want a team that's going to be competitive, I'm not sure that they can win everything, but if you want a team that's going to be competitive, actually, he's the person that's got to go. You can deal with Russell Westbrook and his wildness, because without LeBron there, the ball is going to be in his hands a lot more, and he's going to be able to do some of the things he wants to do without somebody looking over his shoulder. But as far as getting anything for anybody, AD would be the guy, the only guy there that you're going to get anything for, because he's still durable. He's tall, and you can't teach height, and he can rebound and he can score. And most of all, he can fit in, something the other two can't do. The other two want to be alpha dogs. AD can fit in. He can fit in and help you win. So if there's going to be anybody that, I'm just talking too much. It's like 45 minutes I've been on this thing talking. Don't give me a mic. Whatever you do. See, this is what happens when you give me a mic. I'm going to talk. I'm a microphone fiend. Give me a mic in the mix and I'm off, What's that old rockin' song? I kick a hole in the speaker and pull the plug and then I jet back to the lab without a mic in here. There's something. One after the other. Listen, my son, where's my son when I need him? Everybody, thank you for tuning in to Amazing Grace Sports Network. Thursday, where we discuss the Western Conference. I would love you to be sure. Comment, like, and subscribe. Comment, like, and subscribe. And if you're feeling bold, only thing you got to do when we are on the air is send us your email or phone number where you can be reached. And we will get you on. You can feel like you want to be bold, you want to talk. No problem. No problem. Send me. We'll make sure we will reach out to you and bring you on and let you say what you think you might want to say. And with that, I'm gonna get off. Listen, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Listen, I got so many people to thank, from my first grade teacher, from my kindergarten teacher, Mrs. O'Brien, to my second grade teacher. I can't even remember my first grade teacher. Mrs. Delicato, Mrs. White, Mr. Bailey. Listen, if any of you guys know me, I am totally indebted to you, no matter who you are. I am totally indebted to you for being part of my life. Whether we got along or didn't get along, you taught me a lot. It's been the greatest experience of my life to meet people. And happy Thanksgiving to each and every person that I've ever met. Thank you. And have a good day. Bye. Now, how do I cut this off? Not too sure. You're just gonna be here for a while until okay, there we go. Bye, everybody.